Okay, I have actually managed to find 5 things I'm not actually keen on with the Fujifilm X-T3, so let's make that video. Guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is John Sparkman, I'm a photographer in Birmingham in the UK, and I pretty much just talk about Fujifilm gear and lighting gear, which is pretty snazzy. I like all that stuff. Now, in the previous video, I talked about the 5 things I love, and I scratched my head trying to find the 5 things I dislike, or I would not say dislike, maybe needs improvement on the X-T3. The Fujifilm as a company are incredible, and just to kind of flex their incredibleness, they are now using their silver halide techniques, so the chemistry that they put into their film and paper Fujifilm line. They're using that to make really rapid COVID testing, which is bonkers. Like, I mean, come on, Sony, see what you can do. But yeah, go on, Fuji, nice one. So 5 things I dislike about it, and we're going to come in with number 1. So number 1 is absolutely, definitely the batteries. The battery life on these, if you're coming from a kind of like a Canon or something, it's about 1/3. So you need 3 batteries basically. Now the batteries supplied by Fujifilm, about £50 each, and you'll get about 300 to 400 shots, or maybe 20-30 minutes of 4K footage, which is terrible. I'm using a grip which has 2 additional batteries in it. If I was to get the originals for everything, grip is 300, batteries 150. It's pretty pricey just to make it work. Now you compare that to like the Canon LPE6, whatever they're called. Batteries for like the 6D, I would do 1,000 shots, maybe 1,200 shots on that. Now obviously, older cameras, DSLRs, would use an optical viewfinder. This is electronic, which means it's going to take more power to use because it's, you know, it's previewing all the time basically. But yeah, there's no way around it. And I mean, I know the X-T4 has got bigger batteries, still hasn't solved the problem. Mirrorless cameras in general, not just the X-T3, are always going to have this issue. So get batteries. I'm fine with buying third party. I've got loads, I've got about 7 now. That should be enough to do like a wedding day, 2,500, 3,000 pictures. Number 2 on the X-T3 specifically, as I said, it doesn't have an optical viewfinder. Now my first Fujifilm camera was the X100S, which I bloody loved. I absolutely loved that camera, but it was a bit terrible in the kind of the high ISOs and the video and stuff like that. So I shopped it in and got an upgrade a few years ago. But that had like a little toggle, and you flicked it and it gave you optical viewfinder. So it would kind of power reserve the camera. You could actually see what was going on in real time and then snap the shot, and it would obviously save that one. This is everything is EVF, which it does have its positives, but sometimes it's just very nice to have that OVF, the optical viewfinder, going through at some point somewhere. I know some of the Fujis have it, just the X-T3 doesn't. Number 3 is adapters everywhere. Now, if you're moving to Fujifilm, you move all of your kit to Fujifilm. Like, I used to be Canon, and I used to have a couple of adapters that would change Nikon cameras to, Nikon lenses, sorry, to Canon EF, and I had really nice, big, chunky Sigma Primes and 70-200s. And when I moved to Fujifilm, I had to sell all of it and get myself the kind of the Fujifilm own brand lenses. And there isn't that many third-party kind of Fujifilm lenses available. To my knowledge, there's no Sigma kind of art series. And I'm sure you can get adapters, but I mean, they're going to sacrifice some quality, some light input, some kind of functionality. This is not to say that the quality of the Fuji own brand lenses isn't great. They're actually perfect, and even the kit lens is my main kind of lens, and they're also a little bit cheaper most of the time, about half the price sometimes. But still, you have to basically give in all of your gear at the front door and change it all. So be prepared for that one if you are changing to just Fuji in general. Number 4 is there is no IBIS on this camera. Now obviously this has been fixed with the X-T4, so if this is more of a 5 things I don't like about the X-T3, which I do like on the X-T4, I mean, I haven't got that camera, so I can't really say, but I've used Kyle's X-T4. The IBIS, the in-body image stabilization, is great, and it really reduces that shake when you're doing a video. Obviously it's a bit less essential if you're using photo, because you can use high shutter speeds and you can use the lens stabilizers on it. But the IBIS is really good if you're vlogging. For instance, I mean, I can shake just the table here and I've got a little bit of shake on the camera. That would pretty much be eliminated, which is nice. So yeah, this doesn't have it, but upgraded cameras do. Number 4.5, because I think there's actually 6 issues now in total, no flippy out screen. The screen can kind of go up and it can kind of 45-degree backwards and to the side, but it can't come out. So again, fixed with the X-T4, but I'm using a monitor on the top, which is very nice actually. But just for like a walkabout kind of setup, the Field World MA5, which is what I'm using. Then I've got a bracket to attach it. I've got an HDMI cable snaking out. I've got the side door open just to accept that. It needs its own battery, and the battery, because I want a long battery life, is one of those mammoth kind of 9,000 milliamp Sony ones. It's about twice the weight that it used to be now, so it's a heavy kit now. Which is a shame because Fujifilm is such a light kit because they're so small and efficient, basically. Number 5, I guess, is the editing kind of raw file. So they come out as .cr2s, which if your editing software, Lightroom, whatever, is not up to date, it might not be able to access them. Certain presets, if you buy presets, may not have a Fujifilm compatible version, and you may find weird color shifts just flying about. I know that I used to have the now defunct VSCO presets, which I paid quite a lot of money for when I was in Canon, and they basically don't work with Fuji. You've got to modify every single one again. That's kind of defeating the point. Fortunately, I primarily use Masked in Labs now as a preset. I use the Portra ones, and those have been updated to accept the Fujifilm RAWs. More so, I find, just as a personal note, the preview inside of a Mac doesn't show what your raw file is, so .cr2. Whereas if I was using the old files for a Canon, they would show up on screen just on preview, so I could just kind of manage. When you've got 120,000 photos, it's a bit hard to manage. It kind of forces you to go through Lightroom. Then you have to be forced to use a catalogue and then optimize the catalogue and whatever. That can take a long time. It's a small thing, but it's definitely a thing. That is my 5 and a little bit points about the Fujifilm system. They are minor things. Apart from the battery, that's a big thing, but the rest are minor things. I do love the cameras, genuinely. The 10-24 lens that I've got here is absolutely spectacular. I've got it second hand, £500 maybe. 23 f2, I've got an 18-55, I've got the X-T3 as well. They all accept my flashes, they all accept a lot of previous gear that I used to use with Canon. Minor changes upgrading, but yeah, if I give you one advice, is just buy every battery that you can. If you like this video, stick around and subscribe. I would love to reach 2K within the year. And yeah, if you've got any comments or any kind of other things you've noticed about the X-T3 that's kind of on your mind, just leave it in the comments below. See you in a future video.